It is 7:34, so if you will press record if you guys have not already. The first order of business, thank you, Tiger and Tom. First order of business is it's great to see all your faces. And we'd like to take a moment here to approve the meeting minutes from our Park and Rec Commission back in February, on February 12th. So again, if anyone wants to raise their hand or make a motion to approve, let me know.
Motion to approve.
That was Francesca. And Hank, was that a second?
Yes.
All in favor? Any comments I should have said beforehand? Any comments or changes?
No.
Okay, thank you. The second item on the agenda, and thank you so much for being with us. There's several from the Waveney Park Conservancy about the proposed planting plan for the front of the Waveney House. So Tiger, or I think Tom's gone, but Tiger, if you can give the controls over to Caroline or Jane. Caroline, will you be running that, or?
Jane, I think I'll be the one who will be presenting.
Great. All right, Jane. Sorry, Jane. We will hand the controls over to you if you have your document, if you want to share screen.
Yep. Down the bottom of the middle, Jane.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for having us tonight. We really appreciate being put on the agenda. For those who don't know me, I'm Jane Gamber. I am a member of the Waveney Park Conservancy Board. We're joined by Caroline Garrity, who's our board chair. Tiger, of course, is on the board as well, as is Rana. And we also have with us Jennifer Anderson, who is the lead designer of Jennifer Anderson Design and Development Corporation. And she is the one who has undertaken the task of designing the renovation of the gardens and courtyard in front of Waveney. We chose Jenny based on her sense of design, her fabulous reputation, her very collaborative approach, and her experience in tackling large projects. You should have all received a deck outlining the work of the Conservancy over the past 5 years. It also includes pictures of existing conditions on what we're expecting to tackle, and an overview of the proposal that is currently on the table, including the drawings of the proposed design. What I'd like to do is start with a brief review of the projects that the Conservancy has undertaken and is in the process of completing. You can see in the deck that you received that in total, the Conservancy's commitment to date has been just over $1 million. The two biggest undertakings, of course, are clearly the pond restoration and the meadow initiative, both of which the pond is almost there and the meadow is actively being restored or completed as we're phase 1 as we speak tonight. So if anybody has the little overview, it breaks out by project where we come up with the $1 million that has been committed by the Conservancy. I don't think there are probably any questions on that. The courtyard renovation proposal is on the second page of this. And what I would like to do is to have Jenny go over give us all a brief overview of the objectives she is looking to achieve with her design. And then after we have finished, we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. So Jenny, if you want to take it and talk about what it is that we're trying to achieve through this.
Well, I think, you know, the house itself is beautiful. And I think over time, it's, you know, the landscape has gotten tired, to say the least. And, you know, I know it's been up to people as things have, you know, plants eventually perish, or some live, some don't. And I think things have been added sort of over time without a lot of thought to a full-on renovation of the front. So basically what we're trying to do is just pare back, let the house, you know, let the bones of the house be as they are, and do more of a traditional hedges, something that's easy to maintain, that's going to look good year round, adding a little bit of color here and there. But the goal of a house like this is really just to give it bones and shape and structure. And that's basically what we're going after with, you know, and again, the house is big. So, you know, we're putting in hedges, but those hedges are going to be in scale to the house. And then adding very low maintenance plantings as a second layer. But it's really, it's a simple plan, but, you know, we're going to try to use mature planting to establish that. I don't know if you guys have the plan in front. We are pretty much taking everything out that's there right now. There are some plantings that we can reuse, which we are going to reuse over towards the far side, the far right side of the house. Yeah, so we'll be addressing repeated hedges with also globe hollies to balance out the hedges. We're going to be adding changes along some of the alleyways, and we're going to be repeating those. So we're using more of less, basically. So it's sort of a soothing look. Can be, you know, that can be pruned once or twice a year. So we're not looking at a big maintenance project, which will be great. Couple flowering trees, but again, we're going to rip it down to the bare bones and start back up again. Along the left wall, if you're facing the house, there's the wall with the walkway that goes through sort of an arched area that I guess takes you down to a parking area, I believe. That right near the left of the house. We're going to take those walls and we're going to run some espaliers across that, which is going to be really traditional, a great look. So that'll be beautiful. And again, around the front courtyard where you drive under, we're going to just do, again, simple hedge and just anchor the two corners with two smaller trees than what are there now. And, you know, the goal will be to get it in, shape it the way it should be, and then let, you know, the guys who take care of everything there just sort of follow it from there. You know, we'll leave it the way it should be. And then the maintenance should hopefully be like a twice a year thing. Nice. We're going to redo the walkways, which are in really bad repair. There's one walkway that takes over to the left. You'll see, we're just going to basically do it in the same similar fashion with a nicer curve and just relay that in bluestone. We are going to keep the walkway that takes you down to the basement steps and relay that as well. I don't know if that area is a heavy traffic area down to those basement steps, but I think you need the walkway. So that's it. It's a simple plan, at least for the front of the house, as you see there. Anybody have any questions about it?
Yeah.
I can't.
Is that Steve?
I can't make it
Yes.
out.
Yes.
Jenny, a couple things. The two cherry trees in front of the house.
Yeah.
Those were planted in memory of Charles Kelly, who was the first selectman of the town when the town purchased Waveney. And there's a rock there with a plaque with his name on it. So I don't, his daughter and her family still live in New Canaan. So I don't know.
All right.
if we need to speak to her about removing those trees or not, but they were planted in his memory. And there's another dogwood tree on the I'm going to say, if you're looking, staying in the front of the house, you're looking on your left towards where all the other trees are. There's a dogwood tree there by itself. There used to be two of them. Those were two memorial trees that were planted for memory of a couple of kids in town who got killed in an accident. And one tree died. That family's moved out of town. The other tree is living. His family still lives in New Canaan. So
okay. Well,
we may have to check those people.
All right. Let's see if we can't. You know, maybe we can do something to prune those cherry trees and. You know.
Yeah, one's a dogwood and there's the two cherry trees, but
Okay.
the cherries were planted for Mr. Kelly.
Okay, good to know. We can it's funny, I haven't been over there in a couple months, but we can possibly, maybe we can do something to prune them back a little bit, or, you know, I get that.
Yeah, all right, sure.
Memory. And I didn't know that, so I'm sorry.
No
That's
one
right.
told us that.
Yeah, so, okay, so let's revisit that for sure, Steve.
Can-
And the dog, I can't. Is
Can
that
somebody help me understand where is the house in this? We're looking at it sideways and it's really far away. Tiger, maybe you can bring it in closer. You can zoom on it. I can't tell anything from the picture.
I can zoom in on it, but the house, can you see the cursor?
Yes,
This is the house.
the house
Okay.
is there. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
This is the, as you drive in under the porte
Oh,
cochere
okay, there.
and then across. Okay.
Thank you. Yes. Zooming in would be helpful too. Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, when I zoomed in, you started to lose, portions of the plant. So it was kind of a little difficult.
Yeah,
I
you can't actually, Tiger, you can't even see you can't even get the whole thing in. So.
Right.
That's okay. Everybody's received it and should have hard copy of it or have it on their computer in a PDF. So it's helpful to have it on the screen, but everybody should also have their own copy.
The other thing
Thank
is
you.
on the handicap ramp on the west parking lot side of the house, that area is good. That's all going to be changed. So
Yeah, I know that.
Put the new ramp in.
So I think we talked about it. I guess I was on a call with you, Tiger, a little while
Yes.
ago, and we're going to table that whole side of the project. When I did this plan, I wasn't aware of, I didn't have the changes. So what you're seeing now is the original plan, and then after that ramp goes in, we'll revisit that side.
Right. The thought was that we'll, as part of that work for the house, we'll help incorporate a portion of their plan for what they wanted to see here. And a portion of our plan for the house actually almost duplicates what's being done here. So we were almost in agreement with what was happening on this side of the house, on the western side.
Yeah, it's not much different, really. It's just that the ramp is in this. It's over a little more to the west.
Correct.
Yeah.
But we were in agreement, and then we can incorporate their planting plan into our plan to try to then make it all cohesive into one shot. So we weren't married to our plan; we're more married to their plan.
I didn't get a copy of the plan, did I?
It should have been attached to your agenda.
Went in the email.
The agenda had 3 things,
Yeah,
and
that was
they were
just-
all written. There was the agenda.
It's
the-
towards the back. It's the second or third page of I think it was the second attachment.
The second, third page of it.
PDF.
Yeah,
Yeah.
page 5.
Exhibit 2.
You get all this
And,
beforehand.
Oh yeah, there's the walkways.
Right.
I apologize for the hand-drawn plan. I didn't have a really good scaled, the building's so old, the survey was a little tough to work on.
I think you did a fine job.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, this will be the 4th rendition of replanting the front of the house. So
Oh, four's the charm, isn't that it? Was it?
that's great. Yeah. And the first time, if you've seen the house, we got it 50 years ago. You couldn't see the house when you drove in. It was covered. The front was covered with giant cedar trees, and rhododendrons are about 15, 20 feet high. You couldn't see the house.
Well, we're gonna let the house have a little breathing. We're gonna let it breathe a little bit. It's so pretty.
Do we have more questions for Jennifer or Jane or Caroline while we have them regarding the plan?
I have a question. Just great work. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. And Steve, we'll coordinate on all that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
We can contact the families.
This isn't our first rodeo.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Go
When is
ahead,
it
Francesca.
hoping to be done by?
Oh.
When is this hoping to be done by?
We're going to, I think our schedule is that we're going to begin first with the hardscape aspect of it. One of the photographs you can see is the sandbags that are around one of the window wells. So, and then the paths, things along those lines, and then the tree work. Also, there's some dangerous and some ill-placed trees on the west side outside the wall. So that work will begin as soon as possible, probably early next month. And then the other real work, Jenny will schedule that into her crew's availability.
Hey, Jane, the sandbags are put there because we had a flooding problem. The water comes off the driveway and it was going over into the window well and flooding the basement out. So we had to put the sandbags to keep the water away.
No, I'm sure they were very effective. We were thinking of maybe something perhaps a little more permanent and possibly even more attractive.
Yes.
That'd be great.
We're gonna do a little stone retain around that.
That'd be great. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got flooded out. So
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
saw.
no, they're there for a purpose, that we could definitely tell. And there was, obviously the grading there is an important factor as well.
I'll try to get it pitched away from the house a little bit more for you, Steve. So.
yeah, I think our problem was there were wood chips and they got washed in.
I
They
know.
plugged the drain up and then we got wiped out.
Yeah.
Carl, you have questions, Carl?
Yeah, actually, I had one question, but quick on that flooding issue. Is that a persistent problem we have with the house?
No, it's just that one window well, when they put mulch around the trees and the flower beds, the rain would wash the mulch, it would flow in and plug the drain up in the window well. So we had to put the sandbags to keep the mulch out.
Okay, so that was a
Yeah, we can resolve
a
that.
landscaping problem, not a building problem. So the area in the middle of the circle, will that remain as a lawn? Is that the plan here?
Yes, the area will remain lawn.
Yep.
In the middle.
Right. I think the only time that I've been in this area recently was for one of the Caffeine and Carburetors events. And they had the cars around the outside and in the middle. I guess the space on the outside would be lost to the trees, but the lawn would still be in the middle for events like that.
Yes. The middle will still remain grass.
Right.
Well, they want us to put irrigation in there. So I don't know if cars will be able to.
Cars can go. Yeah, that's true.
It was a little soggy, as I remember, that area. Grass.
We didn't feel we needed the irrigation, but
I don't know if you need that. I think they put that on just, why not add everything on and, you can decide, pick and choose what fits the budget or what you think is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually address that with them. They were probably just, adding it on.
Right.
Any other questions or comments? No? At this time, is there anyone who would like a motion to approve the plan, proposed planting plan for the front of Waveney House?
I'll make the motion to approve the plan.
Thank you, Doug. And do I have a second?
Second.
Sorry, say who that was. I didn't see your hand.
Hank Green.
Hank, thank you, Hank. So first was Doug, second was Hank, and anyone opposed? All in favor? Just give me a raise of the hand. Thank you so much. And B, just make a note that Jack Hawkins is not in the meeting. I did not say that in the beginning, so it looks like we had everyone in favor. Thank you so much, everyone. And Waveney Park Conservancy, hats off to you. Thank you for all the work and dedication. I know you've done a lot of work in combination with the town, and John and Steve and Tiger are there too, but thank you so much. It makes a huge difference.
Well, thank you all for working closely with us and for your approval of this project. We're looking forward to it.
Good luck with your next step. I know you've got one more step to go through. Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh gosh, more than one. Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll go to the third agenda item, the Christmas tree recycling program proposed for January 21. And Katie Owsley, I saw, joined us. Katie, I've got you. And I think Tiger will hand over the controls for you. Let us know when you're ready.
Great, thank you for having me. Nice to see so many familiar faces. I sent out a one-pager and there are no visuals, so I can, Tiger, you can share it if you want, or you probably don't need to. It's a quick summary of the current sort of Christmas tree situation here in New Canaan. Right now, a lot of Christmas trees, as everyone knows, after the holidays go to the landfill. And though the carting company now attempts to mulch some of them, really there's very little demand. And so the bottom line is most of the trees that go to the landfill then get trained to landfills. So, sorry, the trees that go to the transfer station get trained up to landfills. So Planet New Canaan has been working with the Nature Center, and we've met with Tiger about the possibility of a mulching program whereby we collect Christmas trees over a week period after the holidays. And then on one day after the collection period, mulch those trees, get them over to the Nature Center, the mulch, where it will be distributed. The goal would be to save, obviously, a huge amount of waste that goes into the landfill and benefit the Nature Center at the same time. So that, in a nutshell, is what we are suggesting. Sorry.
Questions. Tell me, Steve, John, Tiger, what does this mean in terms of the workload you would have, or where would these trees be placed?
Yeah, who'd be doing the work?
Well,
I think it's a great idea. My only one concern is that we have to find a way to block the drive or the entrance to the pool lot where you're going to have the trees, because we get a lot of drive-by people dumping brush and other things in the off season. So we won't want to have people pulling up, just dumping their household brush into the Christmas tree lot. So
okay,
that's what we have to look at.
Yeah, we were looking to collect it for a period of time and then have a kind of a mulching party where we're going to bring over a chipper and dip it all in, and at that point in time, deliver it to the Nature Center. Bill said he could use it. Bill Flynn said he could use it over at the Nature Center, the wood chips. So we were looking at keeping the pile there for a period of time as we gathered the trees in, and then kind of a 1 day, maybe a 2 day operation to mulch everything up with our guys and then deliver it over. We the unfortunate thing is we for using heavy equipment like that, we can't have volunteers, so it has to be done by our staff for insurance purposes.
What's in the old leaf mulching area? What's down there?
Leaves.
Oh, so you wouldn't want to go down there with the trees?
No, at that point in time, it's full. There's not a lot of room left in it. In the December range, we've pretty much put them out into rows, and they're tight to each other at that point. Okay. Over time, they start to narrow down, say by April-ish, but not in the beginning part. The beginning part is full. We're full.
And doing this work over by the pool wouldn't do any damage to the roadway and everything over there?
Be fine.
Just going to be some debris sitting on in the parking lot. The parking lot's unused at that time anyway, since the pool's closed. So we thought it was probably the best place. Plus, they can drive in and out, which is a better service, right? We can come in one way, turn around, drop your tree off, and then continue on out instead of being sort of on a dead end.
Do any other towns do this? You know of?
Not that I know of. There's some there, Tiger. We talked about up close to you. There's a like a high school fundraising, right?
Cheshire High School band actually for $10 a tree will take them and then mulch them. But it's a fundraiser for the band, so they come and do that. You leave your tree out and you leave a check in the mailbox, and they come and they take it. It's just a fundraiser for the band itself, but they handle the mulching and the delivery.
I definitely think it's another great thing the town, could offer. Francesca, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I was waiting till you finished anyway. It's so weird, this whole setup. But I think it's a great idea. I was reading, though, who actually gets access to the mulch, and the New Canaan Nature Center will hold on to it and dole it out. Is that how it works?
No, they were actually going to use it on property.
They're using it. Yeah, okay, yeah, so it's not for us. Okay.
Well, yeah, it was. If somebody wants to come by and grab some from their house, I don't think we're going to say anything. But for the most part, wood chip mulch, they were just going to use it on property. They tend to use the wood chips on a lot of their trails, so they can just incorporate it there.
I see. Okay.
And Ron, I've just heard that Greenwich has a program where they mulch trees as well.
Great.
I don't know the specifics of their program, so.
Thank you, Katie. Do we have any other questions for Katie regarding the Christmas tree recycling? Hank?
Yeah, Katie, how soon after Christmas would the collection period be?
So we are proposing January 3rd through the 10th for drop off, and Planet New Canaan would have volunteers there to help sort of direct the traffic and dissuade people from dropping other things off there. And then, as Tiger said, the mulching would happen when people were not dropping off at the same time. So the mulching would happen on the 11th or 12th or soon thereafter.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have people there through the entire period, through 3rd through 10th, to keep an eye on what's being done there to address the concern about brush.
Yes, I mean, we'll have to have signage, and these are some of the details we'll have to work through, but we'll have to have signage and we'll have to have volunteers, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
We could barricade it off while they're not there. So when it's open, you just open up the barricades, and when they're done, they just put the barricades back out again, and we close off that area.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Katie, so much. If there's no further questions, I'm watching everyone's hands and faces. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the Christmas tree recycling program starting January 2021? Jean, I saw your hand. Anyone second? You, I think Francesca was faster. This is like and is anyone opposed? All in favor? All right, it's unanimous. Congratulations, Katie. Thank you for the idea. Thank Planet New Canaan.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, good night.
All right, agenda item number 4 is the chairman's report. I would just, again, salute what we've done thus far, watching what Parks and Rec and the town have done. Hats off to Tiger and John and Todd and for changing daily, rules and governor decisions in our town EOC and town selectmen. It's been I'm sure a very tedious time for all of you, but watching the amount of work and changing signs and things that have been going on, I'm utterly impressed and speechless. I think in the midst of this, seeing that the trails are open now, seeing that the tennis courts at the high school, and I'll leave that for your updates, of course, in your reports this evening, but I know it hasn't been easy, and I see that during this time, you're also getting a lot of work done. I've seen it in Waveney, I've seen it in Mead, I've seen it in Kiwanis, so thank you for all the work to your team. Rec Director's report. Oh, Steve, you got to unmute.
Got it.
I got to unmute.
I got it. I got it.
You got it?
I got you.
Okay.
Yep.
You all set?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Well, it's been a trying 6 weeks, like it's been for everybody. So, we had the parks open, then we had to close them up, and we got them reopened. It was a matter of putting signs out, and just people were pretty good about everything. So, but 10 days ago, we got the park open for trails for walking, jogging, walking your dog, running. So that was pretty good. And people are pretty good. We had a few issues, but not a lot. The biggest thing is with the high school kids, especially high school girls, they don't believe in social distancing. So we got the tennis courts and the track open last weekend, and the tennis courts we have people can go on to newcanaan.tennisbookings.com and they can create an account and you can make a reservation online. We have an attendant on duty at the courts from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. He checks people in, and the courts have been fairly busy. We had 29 courts used on Sunday. Monday was kind of slow because it was rain showers and whatever. But yesterday we had 27 courts up in play, and we had about 38 courts in play today. So the courts from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock were booked solid. So it was really, really, really nice. So we'll keep that going, and we'll have an attendant do it every day, and it seems to be working well. People are interested, so they're happy to be out there. The track is getting a lot of use. A lot of people walking, jogging. So that's great. And hopefully the next step will be get some of our fields reopened in a limited capacity, limited fashion for just to go out and throw a lacrosse ball or kick a soccer ball or throw a football. So that's been the one challenge. Has been we got people who want to get on the turf field, so they've been climbing the fences or climbing under the fence at Dunning, and you got to throw them off once in a while. So tonight I had an interesting situation. I got a call about 5:45 saying there's a parasailer at Waveney, and there's a guy not from New Canaan, but he had one of these big, the parasails, these guys jump off cliffs and stuff with. So he had this sail out. He had his full harness on, his helmet. He's like playing with his sail, and I got a call, and they called the police, and they came out. And the guy was from Greenwich. He said, well, I don't have any fields in Greenwich. So I can do this. Well, we had to explain to him that our park was open for trails only, and not for using the fields. And so he left after a little discussion. So it's kind of amazing.
And Steve, the update on the Waveney pool, the latest is still the same, correct? I know we're unable to open the Waveney pool, correct?
I've talked to the health department. We've been doing some work around the pool. We put the new umbrella up the kiddie pool. We've cleaned the locker rooms and cleaned the mats. We're waiting for guidance to come from final guys from CDC and from the State Department of Health, but right now, I've been told in the field club, in the country McCall, we can't take our covers off our pools to even clean them. So I'm running my filters, I'm chlorinating and all that stuff. So, but it'd be nice to get the cover up and try and get some of the winter grunge off the bottom of the pool. But my best guess is we're not going to see the pool up from Memorial Day, and it all depends on what the governor says next Wednesday on the 20th. He's going to announce his phase 1, 2, and 3 for the state, and hopefully we may be able to get the pool open before the end of June. There'll be some restrictions that'll be different, but we'll make it work. So that's my best guess. That's what I'm hoping for.
Thank you.
They're going to be doing this. The town is going to do some testing for the first responders and the town employees as we go to reopen town hall next week with Stanford Hospital. They'll come in Friday and do the police, fire, ambulance, and a few other people. They'll do instead of doing the nasal swab, they'll do like a saliva test, and they'll also draw blood and do a blood test, and they'll know who has antibodies, not antibodies, who may be asymptomatic or symptomatic, so they can find all that out. So Stanford Hospital, I was listening to the doctor talk today when they met over there, and they've got plenty of test materials, and they're more than anxious to get going and do it. They've got plenty of staff, so it'll be interesting how that goes. But other than that, we're making plans. I don't know what's going to happen with our summer camps yet. That announcement will come out on Friday. The preliminary announcement from the EOC from the state was that you would be limited to 30 children and no more than 10 in a group. And that if you had to go inside for inclement weather, you can only put 10 children in a room. And I was on a Zoom call with the Connect Recreation Parks Association with 90 people in the Zoom call, and the question was asked, we have a gymnasium. They said, well, you can put 10 kids in the gymnasium. That's it. Well, you got a whole gym. You can't put 10 kids each corner. No, you can't do that. So we're waiting for the final rules to come out on Friday. That'll be interesting. We did get a clarification on sports camps, and they basically said sports camps, unless the kids stay there for the day and have lunch, they don't count as a camp. So therefore, you fall under the governor's guidance of groups of 5. So they're telling us that, like, we have a tennis clinic, we have eight participants. We could put four participants and an instructor on 2 courts, and put 4 participants and instructor on different 2 courts, and we could run our tennis clinics that way. So we're looking at how we can modify our tennis clinics. But right now we can't have our men's softball league. Hopefully we can get something going before the end of the summer and salvage something. I know that's what most people in the state are talking about. But right now all the baseball fields, lacrosse fields, and soccer fields are all closed. So it gives Sean a chance to do a little seeding and all kinds of work to get the fields in good shape for the fall. So that's about where we are. We'll keep you all posted. I know that the Family Forest has been canceled. Everybody heard that. Our summer concerts, right now, I do not see us having any concerts in the month of June. We're looking at trying to do something different. Can we do one on Channel 79? So we're looking into that. There's also some talk about, someone mentioned about having a drive-in movie. And we had the last 3 years, we had a family movie night on the back lawn at Waveney. And the company said they can do a drive-in movie type of feature where we could put a big screen out of the big field where we normally park the cars for 4th of July. And you can park the cars out there, and they can transmit the audio for the movie on an FM station. So that we're looking at that possibility. If we bring in 1 or 2 movies during the summer, have a family movie night, people can register to come, and we can bring 200-300 cars in. You could have a drive-in movie. So we'll see what we can do with that. But we'll keep you posted as we know more after the 20th.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. Questions before I move on to, go ahead, Carl.
For the tennis, is that at the high school and Mead?
Only the high school. John's been working with Putnam. They about 10 days ago, they said they're about 2 weeks out from getting to do the work on the courts because the weather the last 2 weeks, April, it rained 8 out of 10 days. So we're on the list. So we're hoping they're going to come in, they'll get the Mead Park courts open, and we can get those open as well. Right now, we're being told by the governor, he allowed you to open tennis courts, but you have to go by the UST recommendations. You play singles only. And I had a big discussion with a group of guys tonight because they want to form a team for Mead Park to play in the Fairfield County League, and they want to kind of practice doubles. And say, we can't do that because the UST recommends we don't do doubles unless it's with your own family members. So we've got our permission was to open the courts with singles only at this time. And that's the same thing the field club, the lake club, the country club are doing. So they're playing singles only.
Is the plan to run tennis at High School and Mead through the summer once Mead is open? Keep both.
I think having the attendant at the high school might be a good idea. We haven't budgeted for it, but we were getting a lot of non-residents using the courts, and so this is kind of keeping for our residents. And plus, we're gonna have to close the courts for about 2 weeks, some point in the end of July, early August. We've got to resurface the courts. We have money in the budget for that, so at some point, some of those courts will close for like 2 weeks.
Right. And how about paddle? Is that going to remain locked?
That's locked up right now. You can't. I know you can. I watched people play doubles and paddle, and they try and keep 5-6 feet apart, but we were getting a lot of comments about social distancing, and that's why everybody had to close their courts. So we're waiting for the APTA to come out with some recommendations on how you continue with paddle. But paddle is not a single sport; it's a double sport. So,
right.
You can play singles. You can play singles paddle.
It's not as much fun though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the pickleball on the hard court? Has that been addressed anymore?
That's a double sport. We can't do it right now. Everybody in the state's got their pickleball courts closed because they can't play doubles.
But rendering the court playable for pickleball in the future, it seems like now might be a good time to get it going.
Yeah, John and Tiger are working on that.
John, do you want to cover that? John, do you want to start your update, and then we'll let Tiger comment on the pickleball?
Sounds good. COVID-19 has been a challenge. Two of my guys has directly impacted their immediate family. Everything's good now, but when it hits home, it hits home. So with that said, like Steve said, we have been able to oversee almost all the athletic fields, and the seed is having a chance to grow, which is nice. We also were able to do some deep tine aerification, actually called delinear compaction, which goes in and pushes sideways, and that goes down about 8 inches, which really will help a lot of the fields. We've never been able to do that to. So Dixon Park, if you drive by, even though it's closed right now, they redid the safety surface, removed the old fallen spring animals and put in 2 new ones, put in a handicapped accessible ramp. So the whole place is up to code now that way. And the only thing we have left is putting up a brand new sign that we have sitting in the office, and we just haven't been able to get to it with everything. Mead Park tennis courts, we're pushing them, not having great luck. As of this morning, they're talking it could be 2 more weeks, but they're hoping it won't be that long. So other than that, we're all good.
Thank you, John.
Ron, I have one more thing.
Go ahead.
Down at Kiwanis Park, I had Aladdin Services come in, and they pressure washed the gazebo. They cleaned all the pine needles off the roof. They repainted all the trim. They installed all new gratings in the eyebrow windows, and they power washed all the support beams, and they gave them a coating of natural oil. So it looks really nice.
Fantastic. I'll go by there tomorrow and check it out. Thank you. I know I'll go in order. I know I saw Steve's hand go up. I saw Laura. So Steve, you want to go next, and then Laura?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'll be interested to hear about pickleball, but was in Irwin Park the other day and was curious, any discussion about the goats coming back?
Yes.
They're welcome coming. They will be back. They were supposed to be back tomorrow.
Today, 13.
Yeah, 13 or 14, I can't remember. And there's not as much feed or forage for them right now. So they're going to, I believe the Tuesday after Memorial Day or the Wednesday after Memorial Day, they'll be here. That's the plan right now. So about 2-week delay just because there wasn't enough growth.
So the growth that I'm seeing back there, kind of near the gazebo, are those the milkweeds? Is that what we're trying to get?
We're trying to get the knotweed, not the milkweed.
Sorry, the knotweed.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And there are other invasives in there as well. I haven't been out there in a little while, but there's other invasives out there, not just the knotweed. But overall, there wasn't enough feed or forage for them now without supplemental food, so they decided to wait a little bit and then start. So
Okay.
obviously they did a good job last year since there wasn't as much coming back this year.
Yeah, are we expected the same amount of goats, or is it going to be less because there isn't as much?
That's up to the goat herder, but I would imagine there'll be less to start with, because before it was overrun, right? So I would imagine we'll probably only see 2, maybe 3 the entire year.
Great. That's good news. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Laura, go ahead. You're on mute.
Wait, Laura. We can't hear you. Somebody unmute her.
Unmute Laura.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. I was trying to figure out how to get on. I've actually had a lot of questions about the pools. I was trying to get on earlier, so sorry for going back. Just about, if it does open, will there be the swim team and all those activities that people have come to rely on in the summertime? Is there any talk about that, Steve?
I don't know what kind of guidelines are going to be. I don't know if we can have the swim team because of the social distancing. We may be able to have a swim team. It may have to be split practices. I don't know if we can have a swim meet at our place because if you bring in 100 other people, there's not enough room to social distance with that. So that's still up for discussion with the Fairfield County Swim League. They're trying to figure out how they're going to do things. But right at this point, I don't know if we can do the swim team or not. We'll find. We'll know more after the 20th.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Steve, have we signed people up?
No, our office isn't even open.
That's what I figured.
Our office will be open just for Debbie and B, and Bill and I can come back in the office next Wednesday, the 20th, and then the public won't be allowed in the office for another 10 days beyond that. So, and then that'll probably be up by appointment. But so we won't see the public in our office probably to early June. So we may have to look at just doing all our sales for tennis permits and swim passes online, and then somehow get the passes to people. But we're working on that whole process now.
Gene, you had a question?
I do for Tiger and John. I go to Irwin Park.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you, Gene.
Yeah.
The sound is really bad.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Better.
Okay. Over at Coronas, there seems to be a lot of knotweed on the other side of the trail where the goats don't go, as well as up the trail further as you loop back towards the Central Park. How is that going to get controlled?
We have tried at Irwin Park using Roundup on the recommended way of controlling knotweed. Unfortunately, with very limited success. Going up that trail, we have been mowing it back. That all came in when they built the trail. When they disturbed the ground and brought the stalks to the surface and everything. I do not have a great way of controlling knotweed.
So does that mean that while the goats will decimate it in one area, it's just going to grow some other area, it would seem? I'm not trying to be critical of the program. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, well, that's part of that's not at Irwin. There's a lot more places that have a lot of knotweed. If you drive down any side of most state roads, they're loaded with it. And I think that's the limitation with the goats, is the fact that they can only control so much.
Okay, so it will be growing other places, obviously.
Yeah, the garden club had identified the other areas. They had identified pretty much all the areas in the park. And they were hoping that the goats could take off and be relocated to those different locations, the ones that you mentioned, as well as others. So we are hopeful that that program might continue. It is rather expensive to bring the goats in. There's been thoughts of having our own New Canaan herd. And then we're also looking at other ways mechanically to maybe cut it down and then not have it propagate, because we're able to actually bag the cuttings and have it removed. But it still wouldn't take care of it completely.
Okay, so this is going to be an ongoing effort that will probably never end, like with weeds.
Yes, unfortunately,
Okay.
these are a little bit worse than that, but yeah.
And I'm not trying to be at all critical. I'm just trying to understand
No, they did identify, and the thought was that hopefully this would be an ongoing program, you know, knock it down in one spot, replant it, and then go and knock it down in another and continue on through.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Do we have any other questions? And Tiger, is there anything you'd like to update us on while you have us here? And also, do you want to update us on the pickleball?
I can, yeah, we can, we'll talk about pickleball, I guess, first. So pickleball, we do have, we have a proposal and costs associated with what would take to basically take out the two courts that are up there, as well as the practice court, bring it all into speed into one.
Two courts that are up there, I'm lost. Two courts that are up there. Where are we talking about?
It's one court.
Well, I'm sorry, one court. The court that's up at the top, the synthetic, not the clay.
The hard court.
Apologize, the hard court.
That's okay.
That and the play area behind it, the wall behind it.
Yes.
There's a little topography change there. We had a plan with and without that, including that area. We feel it's best to probably include that area and then take that entire area out and put in 5 pickleball courts through that area, dedicated just to pickle. The thought being that if you try to do one versus the other, according to the consultant and the contractor, you basically sacrifice one for the other. So it would be best just to either, you know, pick your poison, in this case, pick pickleball and call it a day. What we had originally asked for from the Board of Finance and the Town Council was a portion of the funds that we had to redo the clay courts be transferred over to help us with the pickleball courts. The unfortunate thing is that there isn't enough money to do that. So the thought being is that we want to go back to the Board of Finance and the Town Council and ask for the monies that were solicited or laid out for the renovation of the clay courts to be solely dedicated towards pickleball, and to actually take that hard court out and put in pickleball courts instead. Then the issue at hand, the coronavirus, came to play, and we are stuck in a situation whereby we're being asked to look at our existing fiscal year 20 capital, our upcoming fiscal year 21 capital, our operating expenses for this year, our operating expenses for next year, and any long-term capital plans that we might have underneath a little bit closer of a view as to what can be postponed and what needs to go right now. So the unfortunate thing is that we're at a holding point to go back and ask for that transfer of funds, because we're feeling that it's not, it doesn't have to happen immediately. And as of right now, they're bonded funds. And since they're bonded funds underneath the governor's order, you can only do certain work under bonded funds. It has to be determined as an emergency. So the other night, the Board of Finance approved the roof at East School and a bridge replacement. And both had to be vetted by bond counsel to make sure that they were considered to be emergency appropriations. So that's our problem right now. We're a little bit of a holding pattern because of the virus. Once we see our way out of it, then our goal and our thought is to go back, ask for the fund transfer, and then go forward with the renovation of those courts and change them over to pickle.
And those courts being just the backboard play area and that one single hard court that has a bad surface.
Correct. Correct.
Steve, I know you had a question. You're on mute. Just take your microphone off.
Yep. So thanks for the update, Tiger. If I recall, there was some timeline with the funding. It was bonded for a period of time. Does that get affected by the coronavirus and the situation we're in? Is it potentially, do we lose this opportunity if it extends?
It's a great question. The what normally happens, we're in a good spot in the town of New Canaan in the fact that when we bond something, we still tend to fund it out of our existing funds and then replenish the funds with a bond. So we try not to bond it. You know, there's a difference between authorization and issuance, right? So they authorize the bonding, so it gives us the right to be able to utilize the funds. We take it out of our savings or out of our kitty and then replenish it with a bond when we issue it. At the time that you issue it, you have 18 months in order to utilize the funds. We try not to get into that situation, so whereby the project is already completed. So these funds have not been issued yet. They've only been authorized. So we don't run that risk. That's a great question.
Okay. And just so we're clear, the budget came in higher than expected, and therefore most, if not all, of the monies would go towards the 5 pickleball courts as opposed to restoring a couple of the clay courts?
That's correct. Well, we had originally thought that we were going to be able to basically take off the hard surface and then put on a new surface and make it work. The unfortunate thing is that we've had that whole row of trees on the backside between the courts and the railroad tracks has just ruined that surface underneath, basically ruined the asphalt underneath. And if you look, it's just undulating. It's not just the hard surface, it's actually the asphalt underneath. So we can't. So the thought is that we're going to have to basically take it all out, put in, our thoughts were to put in a pre-stressed structure, similar to what we did at the high school, as far as a concrete base, and then build the pickle on top of it. It'll be a great surface. And at that point in time, since we're doing that, we can incorporate the grade change and make that entire area all one level, which would be the play area in the back, all one level, and gain an additional court. So that we thought that was probably the best alternative for us, given the circumstances that we were faced with.
Yeah, to give everybody a little history, that area was reason why there's a drop off. That area was originally put in as an area that you could flood the wintertime, you could skate on it, and then they put a tennis court in there for the winter, for the summer months. But that's why it's got a raised grade on it. And when we repaved it like 20 years ago, they created that raised area. But I do have 2 portable pickleball nets, and until we can get the surface redone, we probably could paint the lines for 2 courts on that area, and maybe we could probably figure out, so we don't get to the bad area Tiger mentioned, we may be able to rearrange the court somehow. I don't know. We'll have to look at it, measure it out, see if it fits. But I do have portable nets, so we could make 2 courts for the time being.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiger, for the update. Anybody else have any other questions regarding rec or park? Carl, you're on mute.
So is the high school courts, they are a pretty good model for what we could expect to see then for the pickleball courts? If I take a look at that surface, is that a good model for what we would have?
What you can do, yes. What you can do though is we didn't have the money to put, like the Court of Mead Park has what they call a premier court, or they call it a deco court, like the U.S. Open, so it's like a cushion padding. That's what Mead Park has. We didn't have enough money when we built the tennis courts at high school to put that deco court surfing on the courts. So they came in, they put a sealer on the courts, and they put the 3 or 4 coats of paint on it to give it a surface, and that's what's peeling up, because the sealer didn't cure right or something. So that's what we got to fix when you go to resurface them. But ideally, if we have the money, we could put that deco court back on top of the concrete and give you an outstanding surface plan.
Okay. And what is the difference between the grades between the practice court and the hard court?
Well,
it's quite a big difference.
Yeah, when they redid the court, it used to be a bowl. You had a lip. It was about an 8-inch lip, 10-inch lip, and the court sat down inside a bowl. So when they resurfaced the court 25 years ago, they decided at that point to put pressure treated wood across the back side of it, and then filled it in, and then paved over. So they brought the court up to the level of the berm that was around the whole. Rather than remove the berm, they brought the court up to the level of the berm. They just paved over it. And then about 15 years ago, I went in and put the premier court on top of the asphalt, because the asphalt was cracking and it was crummy. So we put that nice surface on it, and people liked it. So hopefully what we can do is we can get the post-tension concrete court put in there, then you can put the deco court on top of it, and you'll have a fantastic playing surface. So it'd be great.
It's a small thing probably, but are we sacrificing the backboard, the tennis backboard at Mead? Will that still be there?
You can leave the backboard there. You can get 4 pickleball courts on the existing tennis court, and you can put a 5th pickleball court where the backboard is. And so you can leave that area open, so if someone's not playing pickleball, you can still hit a tennis ball against a backboard.
Perfect. Good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Steve, John, Tiger, for the updates. Our next meeting on the agenda is June 10th at 7:30, just so if you guys have calendars handy. Is there anything else we'd like to cover?
Hi there, Rona.
Hi, how are you?
Hi there. I just wondered, are you accepting questions from the public right now, or is this just board members only on this call?
You can email it and then give us a chance to put it in, but if you'd like to pose your question, you're here. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Steve for all the work on Kiwanis. I've seen you down there. I've seen you guys down there. It looks absolutely fantastic. So thank you. Thank you. And for the work on the pavilion as well. I just wondered, given I know there's a very difficult time and it's very uncertain given the coronavirus. And obviously plans are being formed and reformed throughout the summer. Are there any plans to open the Kiwanis swimming pond at all during the summer? Or is that off the books for this year?
To lengthen it?
No, to open it.
Open it. I don't know. We're waiting for the state health department to tell us what we can do and can't do.
Right.
So,
okay. I just wondered if that was something. I mean, obviously, if there was a limiting of numbers, and given the fact that it'd be nice to increase the profile of the park. If there are, I mean, obviously, if the more packed pools become, the more risks they are. So, if it was a case of limiting numbers in Waveney Pool, if that was to open, it might make a really good case for actually opening Kiwanis and saying, hey, guys, you can go down to Kiwanis swimming pond and it's open, just as a thought.
No, that's great. No, we'd like to have Kiwanis. We'd love to get Kiwanis open. In fact, Tiger, normally this past week, normally the highway department would go in with the guys in the wastewater treatment plant. They would put the pumps in. They'd be draining the pond down to about a small, maybe a tenth of the size it currently is, and then they would clean any leaves and debris out, and we'd get new sand and we redistribute sand around the park. But we were told we can't do that. So if we get it open, we'll probably just get some new sanded spots on the beach areas. We probably won't have the bottom of the pond clean for the summer. So we're still waiting to hear, and we'll know more on the 20th, I guess. So.
Yeah, stay tuned for the governor's update.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. Anyway.
Oh, our pleasure. Our pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think before we take off, John, again, sorry for the, coronavirus touching two of your guys. I also, before we sign off and make a motion to end, I just want to say a special shout out to B, and for the loss of your mom. We love and support you. So just know we're really sorry for the loss of your mom.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Do I have a motion to dismiss? Motion to end? Thank you, Francesca. Second? Thank you, Matt. I see the second. All in favor? Anyone opposed?
Okay.
All in favor.
Matt was second. Thank you, everyone, for your help. We'll see you on the 10th of June. Be well, everybody.
It'll probably be a Zoom meeting
Be
as
well.
well.
Be safe.
It'll be a Zoom.
Everyone
be safe.
Bye, B.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Hey, B, how do I sign the meeting minutes? Should I just wait?
Can you sign, it was sent to you in that email. Can you sign the last page and mail it to me or scan it to me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, good.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great. Thanks. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Tiger.
No problem, Steve. No problem at all.
Bye, guys.
All right, thanks, man. Tom, you all good? Wait.
Hey, Tiger, you want to give me a call tomorrow? We'll talk about that office stuff.
Yeah. I apologize. I didn't get a chance to give you, but I'll call you tomorrow. Yeah. Well, he's jumping me around. I got time in the morning. I'll give you a ring sometime in the morning. That works.
Give me a ring. That'd be fine. Great.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay.
Can I shut her down?
Yeah, you can shut her down, Tom. So I'm going to leave.
Okay. All right, I'll leave.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.